Tim Olson, in charge of field operations for the 2020 census. You're not expecting the issues that are causing...
Heading out to Muhammad. It's kind of like the next city over. Not too far of a drive, like 15-20 minutes. I've got a few jobs to do for these folks, one of which is installing some lights over a bathroom. But the weird thing about the bathroom is that the attic space, like, you know, the space over the ceiling is kind of in like two separate attics. So there's gonna be a lot of crawling around and fiberglass splinters and things like that.
Issues that are causing the delays in background clearances right now in the partnership.
So that job ended up being a couple hours, pretty arduous, but in the end, very satisfying. All right, so I just got to run a wire from this guy right here under that little hatch. I have never been in an attic that small in my life. And after that, I went over to my big job for the week, which is building a new set of stairs for some folks, kind of like in the old part of town. And I posted a larger video about that build here on the channel, so I'm not going to say too much more about it. If you really want to see that stair build, just check out that other video. I'll put a card here. But one thing that was really cool about the job, and I didn't expect this, but kind of cool from a handyman perspective, was that, you know, I set up in their front yard. These are front steps that were in their front yard, so, you know, I set up shop out there and was working for a few days. And a couple people stopped by and asked me, you know, for my card and asked me if I could do jobs for them. You know, in these days of all the internet marketing and whatnot, you know, I totally do that stuff. I'm on Yelp and Google and YouTube here and all that. But it's just so cool to have someone, you know, just like see your truck or see you working in the front yard and come up to you and talk to you. And to be working in a neighborhood with, you know, houses that are like 150 years old, I'm guessing that that has been sort of a long tradition in that neighborhood of, you know, people working in the yards or working on houses and people coming out of their houses and saying, hey, you know, can you do something for me? So that's just to say the stair job worked out for me in more ways than one. And I've kind of got jobs back to back today. That's because it's Friday, and I think what's happening is, like, earlier in the week, you know, if someone calls me like, you know, I need some ceiling fans installed, which is that's what I'm going to do right now. You know, I'm like, well, I'm busy right now, but later in the week I'll be okay. So I kind of scheduled a bunch of stuff for Friday. So today is back to back. First job sounds like it's a ceiling fan, maybe a vent fan in a bathroom, and we'll see how it goes. This one's kind of cool. It's a guy I used to work with, Ron. Shout out to Ron, buddy of mine. He and I used to work together. Anyway, he talked to this gal and said, you know, Spencer's a handyman and he's not so bad. Anyway, she gave me a call, and I'm going over there now. After that, I've got jobs lined up. The tricky thing today is that I'm trying to get a coat of paint on the steps I built this week, and they just need one coat of paint, one final coat of paint, but I gotta wait for the temperature to be just right. So in the middle of the day, if I can squeeze it out between jobs, I'm gonna run over there and put a coat of paint on those steps. This is like everyone's worst nightmare. If you drive around with the truck all day and you got all your tools in the back, you know, your biggest fear is that something's like unsecured or hanging, like that air tool's just swinging there. Oh my gosh. Next up, a simple handrail to install over some steps, like a step I put in about a week ago. And it was this job right here that made me decide finally and absolutely that I need to either make or buy some portable folding sawhorses. I just got to do it. You know, like something I can collapse down and carry around in the truck with the million other things I've got in the truck, and then just like break out, set on someone's driveway, and be able to cut and work efficiently outdoors. All right, handrail is installed. Those guys are so nice. It's an older couple, and you know, they're kind of getting on in years, and they just need things around the house that make it more accessible. So, you know, a simple handrail, I think it took me like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to install. and they can safely get out of the garage. So anyway, that's cool. All right, next up is lunch. And I'm going home for lunch. I will let the chickens out, let the dogs out, you know, run around a little bit. And yeah, it's true. I make it home just about every day for lunch. You know, time to eat, hang out with Melissa if she's there, run the dogs, let the chickens out, and just generally chill. Oh, you guys are ready to go. You guys are ready. All right, come on. Let's do it. Come on. You definitely could call it a perk of being self-employed in a pretty small town where nothing, like no part of this town is much more than 10 or 15 minutes away from our place. I just got rear-ended in traffic. Dude hit me from behind. Actually ran into my trailer. No damage, whatever, stuff happens. We shook hands, and now I'm going to the next job. That quarter. Now the deal here is that sometimes in a really nice older home, you know, like an older home like this one that's been all restored and fixed up and everything, I find that I'm like a little bit reluctant to drill that first hole in a wall or cut into that piece of plumbing or take a fixture off the wall or whatnot. But then I did it anyway, started drilling holes and installing all kinds of hooks and curtain rods and whatnot. There's just so many things I like about old houses. You know, that one is about 1910. Lath plaster walls, nice solid walls, big old windows, tall ceilings, you know, like 12-foot ceilings. Anyway, that's all done. I'll be back there in about a week to put some molding around some base trim. I thought I was gonna do that today, but she didn't have it, and I'm just gonna buy it for her and stain it at my place and then cut it when I get there. Anyway, next job today. One more job. It's kind of a long day. I've got a couple lights to swap out at a house, at least it's on the same side of town, and some steel to paint. You know, like the steel over windows on a brick house. That stuff's starting to rust and it needs painting. If I have time, I'm gonna squeeze in some tree work, but we'll see if I get time for that later tonight. All right, so that's it for this installment of my Handyman Diaries. If you see me out there in the streets, throw me a wave. And remember, it's not really how to do it here in the Handyman Diaries, but more just how I did it.